In today's lecture, we'll be doing chapter 2 of business studies, that is forms of business organization. So, starting up with this chapter, we are going to study mainly five forms of business organization, which is going to be sole proprietorship, joint Hindu family business, partnership, corporate societies, and joint stock company. In depth. Okay, so first we are going to start with sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is your simplest form of business organization, okay, and it is usually suitable for small business in their initial years of operation. So the definition of sole proprietorship is sole proprietorship refers to a form of business organization which is owned, managed, and controlled by an individual who is the recipient of all the profit and who bears all the risks. So is the bearer of all risks. Okay, so the word sole proprietorship, sole means only and proprietor means owner. So sole proprietor is the one who is the only owner of the business. So this form of business is particularly common in areas of personalized service, like your saloons, your stationery shops. Okay, so let's see the features of sole proprietorship. So each of the five types of business organizations that we are going to see will be seeing the features, its merits and its demerits. Merits you can say as advantages and demerits as its disadvantages. So the first one is formation and closure. So for sole proprietorship there is no separate law, okay, and there is no much legal formalities that are required to start a sole proprietary business. In some cases, suppose if you have some liquor brand that you want to open up as a sole proprietor, so in some cases you may require a license, a liquor shop, or maybe any guns or anything like this, so you might require license, but most of the time it requires hardly any legal formalities. And the closure of the businesses can also be done easily because you are the sole owner, so you don't have to consult or you don't need anyone else's opinion. You can form your business and close it according to your will. So there is a ease in formation as well as the closure of a business. Second is liability. So sole proprietors have unlimited liability. This means that the owner is personally responsible for the payment of debts. Further, when we see other forms will be seeing other form of business organizations will be seeing that the members in that they equally divide the loss and the profit, so there is a share of risk. But in sole proprietary form of business you are the only bearer of all the risks, so your personal assets that are there, that is also used to repay the debts of the business. Suppose you say that there is a liability of XYZ dry cleaner. So the sole proprietary firm, it's of 80,000 the total liability, and at the time of dissolution, or you can say at time of closure, the assets were only 60,000. The assets that they had were only 60,000. So in such a situation, the proprietor will have to bring rupees 20,000 from his or her personal source, even if she or he has to sell his or her personal property to repay the firm's debt. So basically, if the gist of this liability is, firstly it's unlimited, second of all your personal assets can be used to repay the debts. Third feature is sole risk bearer and profit recipient. So the risk of failure of business, the risk of failure of the business is borne all alone by the sole proprietor. However, in instances where the business is successful, the proprietor enjoys all the benefits. He receives all the business profits, which become a direct reward or a direct incentive for his risk bearing capacity. Fourth feature is control. So the right to run the business and make all the decisions lies in the hand of the sole proprietor. He carries out his plans without any consultants or any interference from others. So the control and the right to run the business is in the hands of the sole proprietor. Fifth point is no separate entity. So, in the eyes of law, no distinction is made between the sole trader and his business. So, in sole proprietorship, the business and the businessman are the same thing in the eyes of law, and the owner is held responsible for all the activities in the business. If there is case of insolvency or anything regarding any issues that come up, the whole person who is held responsible is the owner only. Nobody else can be held responsible. Sixth feature is lack of business continuity, means the sole proprietor business is owned and controlled by an individual. So if in case it happens to be that he dies, or he or she dies, or imprisonment, insanity, bankruptcy, physical ailment is there, so that has a direct and detrimental effect on the business, and it can also lead to the closure of the business, because the sole owner is the one who controls. So if he is affected in any possible means, it directly affects your business. Next, we are moving on to merits. So, sole proprietorship, it offers many advantages. Some of these are: first, quick decision making. So, sole proprietor enjoys a considerable degree of freedom in making business decisions. Further, the decision making is prompt, means it's quick, because there is no need to consult anyone else. He doesn't need any co-partners opinions or any views on any decisions that he wants to execute. He's the one and he does it by his way. So this leads to timely capitalization of market opportunities, means you can grab the opportunities as soon as it arises. Second merit is confidentiality of information. So, sole decision making authority enables the proprietor to keep all information related to the business operations confidential and maintain secrecy. So basically, your sole trader or your sole proprietor is not bound, or he or she is not forced to publish the firm's records or accounts on a daily basis. So he or she can maintain secrecy about his or her business. Confidentiality can be maintained. Third merit is direct incentive. So, sole proprietor directly reaps the benefits of his or her efforts, as he or she is the sole recipient of all the profit. So, whatever incentive, means whatever profit you get, that you directly reap the benefits of that. And the need to share profit does not arise, as he or she is the single owner. So, you don't have to share your profits also. This provides maximum incentive to the sole trader to work more hard. Then you have your sense of accomplishment. So there is this personal satisfaction involved in working for yourself. When you're working for yourself, you feel self satisfied. You feel that you are doing the right thing. You are, when you earn incentives, profit, you feel that the knowledge that one is responsible for the success of business, it does not only contribute to satisfaction and confidence, but also instills a sense of accomplishment and confidence in one's abilities. Fifth merit is ease of formation and closure. This we saw in the feature also. An important merit of sole proprietorship is the possibility of entering the business with minimal legal formalities. You do not need a lot of legal formalities to enter into business or to start your business. So there is no separate law that governs the sole proprietorship, as sole proprietorship is the least regulated form of business. It is easy to start and close the business as per the wish of the owner. If the owner wants to start it today or tomorrow, he or she can, and if he wants to close it maybe after a month or whenever, he or she can do that also without consulting or requiring anyone's opinions. Now, with the merits that we have seen, there are limitations also to it. Demerits are also there. Notwithstanding various advantages, sole proprietorship form of organization is not free from limitations. So there are some of the major limitations of sole proprietorship are as follows. First is limited resources. So you can imagine yourself, if you are the sole owner, how much can you go beyond your capacity? You cannot work beyond your capacity. So resources of sole proprietor are limited to his or her personal savings and borrowings from others. And usually banks and other lending institutions also hesitate to extend you a long term loan, because you don't know, the bank or the lending institution does not know what is the financial capacity of the sole proprietorship, how much would it be able to repay. If they extend a long term loan or some a loan of a big amount, they don't know that if they would be able to repay it or not. So lack of resources is one of the major reasons why the size of a business really grows. It really grows means it does not expand a lot, and it generally remains small. Second demerit is limited life of a business concern. As I said, that the sole proprietor is owned, controlled, and managed by one person. So, if death, insanity, physical ailment, bankruptcy, or any such thing happens, it directly affects the business. It directly detrimental effect is there on your business, and it can lead to the closure of the business. Third demerit is unlimited liability. So the major disadvantage, this is one of a major disadvantage of your sole proprietorship, is that the owner has unlimited liability. If the business fails, the creditors can recover their dues. Creditors means us, we all, whoever have contributed in the business, not in the way of profit, but in the sense of, they have bought something from the business or something, like in that point of view. So they can also recover their dues, not only from the business assets but from the personal assets of the proprietor. So a poor decision or an unfavorable circumstance can create a serious financial burden for the owner. If he or she takes any poor decision, not a wiseful decision, or some unfavorable circumstances can happen, like any natural calamity or anything of that sort, it can create a very serious financial burden, because there is no one to support him or her. You are the only person who is there, so there is no one to support you with finance, so you can be in a serious financial burden. So that is why sole proprietors are less inclined to take risk in the form of innovation or expansion. That's why they don't want to expand, or in not much innovation is put into the business. This is one sole reason. Fourth and your last limitation is limited managerial ability. Now you yourself think, a sole proprietor is an individual, how much can an individual go beyond its capacity, right? There's so many things involved in a business, from purchasing your items to selling it, financing, all of this. So how can a single individual manage all of this? That is why there is limited managerial ability. The owner has to assume the responsibility of various managerial tasks such as purchasing, selling, financing, and it is rare to find an individual who excels in all this area. Thus, decision making is not always balanced in all the cases, and also because there are limited resources. As we know, sole proprietor is not able to employ and to retain talented and ambitious employees. So, though sole proprietorship suffers from various shortcomings, many entrepreneurs opt for this form of organization because of its inherent advantages. They have advantages as well, such as quick decision making is there, confidentiality of information is there, sense of accomplishment is there, then you have ease of formation and closure is there, then you have direct incentive. So, there are so many advantages also, and it requires less amount of capital. You don't need to contribute a lot of capital also, and it is suited for business which are carried out on a small scale and where customers demand personalized service. Some personalized service is there, so it is best suited for that type of business. Next, we are moving on to our second form of business organization, that is joint Hindu family business. So, this form of business organization is specifically found in India only. Okay, and it is the oldest form of business organization, one of the oldest forms of business organizations in the country. It refers to a form of organization where the business is owned and carried out by the members of the Hindu undivided family, and it is governed by your Hindu law. So, the basis of membership in the business, how can you get membership in the business, is by birth. The moment anyone gets born in a Hindu undivided family, you are considered as a partner of that, not as a partner, but as a member of that family business. So the basis of membership in business is by birth in a particular family, and three successive, this is important, three successive generations can become the members of the family. Only three successive generations. And the business is controlled by the head of the family, who is the eldest member and is called the karta. So the person who controls the business is called karta, and he is usually the eldest member of the family. Recently there was this amendment which was called the Hindu Succession Act 2005, in which your uh, karta can be your male or female. Previously it was male, but now it can be your male or female, and all members have equal ownership right over the property of an ancestor, and they are known as co-partners. So the head of your business is known as karta, and all the other members that are there of your family, they are called as your co-partners. So now we are going to see the features of joint Hindu family business. So the first feature is formation. So for a joint Hindu family business, there should be at least two members in the family. So if family may in a family, there should be at least two members so that the business can be formed. And ancestral property should be inherited by them. Business does not require any agreement as membership is by birth. तो आपको कोई, you don't need any agreement or any type of document or something, because your membership is by birth and it is governed by your Hindu Succession Act 1956. This is important, Hindu Succession Act 1956. Second feature is liability. So the liability of all members except the karta is limited to their share in co-partnership property of the business. The karta, however, has your unlimited liability. Third feature is control. So the control of the family is with who? Of course, with the karta. He takes all the decisions and is authorized to manage the business. His decisions are binding to on the other members as well. So whatever he decides, the other members have to abide by that. Then your fourth feature is continuity. So the business continues even after the death of the karta. This is obviously it is something that some of its basic an advantage you can say, because even after the death it is continuing. This we did not see in sole proprietorship. In sole proprietorship, when your the proprietor died, or there was insolvency or anything of that sort, it led to closure of the business. But in JHUF, if your karta dies, the next eldest member takes the position of the karta and it leaves the business stable. to the business can, however, the business can be closed if there is mutual consent among the members. So if they mutually decide that they want to close the business, they can do so. Fifth and your last feature is minor members. So the inclusion of an individual into the business occurs due to the birth into the Hindu undivided family. Hence, minors can also be the members of the business. So even minors can be the members of the business. Then you have the merits. So the advantages of joint Hindu family business are as follows. First advantage is effective control. So since whenever we say, whenever you have a team, you always say for effective management, for effective control, for efficient decision making, you should have a leader of that team so that all the decisions can be made in a timeful manner. So in the same way, Karta is the team leader of the team. So effective control is there. So Karta has the absolute decision making power. This avoids the conflicts among other members. Other members, they don't fight among themselves because no one can interfere with the right to decide any policies. And it also leads to prompt and flexible decision making. Second merit is continued business existence. So the death of the karta does not affect the business, as the next eldest member will take up the position. Hence, operations are not terminated and continuity of the business does not get threatened. Third merit is limited liability of the members. So, the liability of all the co-partners except the Karta is limited to the share in their co-partnery property, and the risk is well defined and precise. So according to how much share they have invested in the property, the risk is up to that. So their risk is also defined, means it cannot go beyond that, and it is precise. Then your fourth merit is increased loyalty and cooperation. So since in JFUF all the members are of a single family, so there is more loyalty and cooperation towards the business. The business is run by the members of the family, so there is a greater sense of loyalty towards the other. Pride or in the growth of the business, if there is growth of the business, it links to the achievement of the family and it helps to secure better cooperation from all the members of the family. With this, we are going to see limitations or demerits of JHUF. So, the following are some limitations of joint Hindu family business. First limitation is limited resources. So, the joint Hindu family business faces the problem of limited capital as it depends only on the ancestral property. Two main things that has to be there in JHUF is first they should be at least two members to form this organization. Second of all, ancestral property must be inherited. So because of this there is limited resource. So this is a problem because of limited capital as it depends only on your ancestral property. So this limits the scope for expansion of your business. Second limitation is that there is unlimited liability of karta. So karta is burdened not only with the responsibility of decision making, controlling, but also and management of business, but also he or she suffers from the disadvantage of having unlimited liability, and his or her personal assets can be used to repay the business debts if any. Third demerit is dominance of karta. So in many cases, it can happen that the karta is individually managing the business, and it might happen at times that is not may at times not be acceptable to other members. Maybe his policies or his rules or some decisions that he makes is very dominant. It might feel dominating to the other members of the family, so this might cause a conflict among them and may lead to the breakdown. So it might lead to the breakdown of the family unit. Fourth demerit is limited managerial skills. So since all the co-partners and the karta belongs to a single family, Mainly the karta. A karta cannot be expert in all the skills and all the areas of management, so the business might suffer as a result of his unwise decision or any policy that he takes. His inability to decide if effectively may result into poor profits or even losses for the organization. So the joint Hindu family business is on a decline because of the diminishing number of joint Hindu families in our country. Okay. Third type of business organization is your partnership. So the inherent disadvantage means a persisting and an ongoing disadvantage of your sole proprietorship is financing and managing and expanding business. We saw in sole proprietorship there is lack of resources, and because of that there is unlimited liability also. So because of that the sole proprietor usually tends not to expand, or not much innovation is done into the business. So because of this it paved way for partnership as a viable option, as a option. So, partnership serves as an answer to the needs of greater capital investment, varied skills, and sharing of risk. So, partnership is basically when there are two plus members, two or more members. So, in partnership, you have greater capital investment. Each member will invest in your capital. The skills will be different, right? Because they're different members. Then, third, there will be sharing of risk, means the risk doesn't have to be, the bearer of the risk doesn't have to be by a single individual. They are different people. According to the capital they have invested, according to that they, if the company bears any risk, they have to only pay the amount according to the capital in which they have invested. So there is a share of risk. So this is the definition of partnership. So the Indian Partnership Act 1932 defines partnership as a relationship between persons who have agreed to share the profit of the business carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. So it's a relation between persons, it's a relationship between persons who have agreed to share the profit of the business carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. So let's see some features of partnership. So the definition given above point to the following major characteristics of the partnership form of business organization. So first is formation. So partnership form of business organization is governed by the Indian Partnership Act 1932. So it comes into existence from your legal agreement, wherein the terms and conditions which are governing the relationship among partners, sharing of P&L, and the manner of conducting business are specified. So it may be pointed out that the business should be lawful and run with the motive of profit. Thus, two people coming together for charitable purposes will not be constituted as a partnership. Main objective of partnership is to earn profit. So in partnership, if anybody, two or more people are coming with the aim of charitable purposes, that is not called a partnership. That will study further as your corporate society. A second feature is liability. So the partners of the firm have unlimited liability again. So personal assets may be used for repaying the debts in case the business assets are insufficient. Further, the partners are jointly and individually liable for the payment of debts. Jointly means everybody, and individually means, suppose if there are five members, all five of them jointly and all five of them individually are liable for the payment of the debts that have occurred. So jointly all the partners are responsible for the debts, and they contribute in proportion to their share in business, and as such are liable to the extent. So how much ever they have contributed in the share in the business, to that extent they are liable to repay if debts occur. Individually, too, each partner can be held responsible for repaying the debts of the business. However, such a partner can later recover from other partners an amount of money equivalent to shares in liability defined as per the partnership agreement. So, if the partners individually are held responsible to repay the debts, so later he or she can recover from other partners an amount of money which is equivalent to the share that he or she has agreed upon in the partnership agreement. So a partnership is a relationship between personal persons with a view to private gain, means to earn profit and agree to carry on a lawful business. Okay, so our third feature is risk bearing. So partners bear the risk that is involved in running a business as a team. So together as a team, they bear all the risks. So the reward comes in the form of profits, which are shared by the partners in an agreed ratio. So at the start of the business, they agree upon a specific ratio according to which the profit is shared among all the members. However, they also share the losses in the same ratio. So the loss is also shared in the same ratio as the profit is shared in the event of the firm incurring loss. Fourth feature is decision making and control. So the partners share among themselves the responsibility of decision making and control of day to day activities. Decisions are generally taken with mutual consent. Thus, the activities of partnership firm are managed through a joint effort of all the partners. Fifth feature is continuity. So, partnership is characterized by lack of continuity business, since the death, retirement, insolvency, insanity of any partner can bring end to the business. However, if the remaining partners want to or they desire to continue the business, they can do so, but they have to form a new agreement. All right, now your sixth. So our sixth feature is number of partners. So the minimum number of partners that is needed to start a partnership firm is two. Okay, then you don't need to read all this. You just have to read this. So the minimum partners you need is two, and the maximum number of members can be 50. Minimum two, maximum 50. Seventh feature and the last feature you have is mutual agency. So the definition of partnership highlights the fact that it is a business that is carried on by all or any one of the partners which acts for all. In other words, every partner is both a agent and a principal. He is an agent of other partners, and as he represents them and thereby binds them through his acts. He is a principal, as he too can be bound by the acts of other partners. So, what was the definition of partnership? It was the Indian Partnership Act 1932 defines partnership as a relationship between persons who have agreed to share profit of the business carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. Now let's see the merits of partnership. So the following points describe the advantages of a partnership firm. First is ease of formation and closure. So a partnership firm can be formed easily, and it can be formed by putting an agreement between the prospective partners into place whereby they agree to carry the business of a firm and share the risk, and there is no compulsion to registration of the firm is not required. If it wants to do so, it can, but it's not compulsory. Closure of the firm is an easy task as well. Second merit is balanced decision making. So the partners can oversee different functions according to the areas of expertise. So according to each individual's expertise in whichever field he or she can manage that specific field. So, because an individual is not forced to handle different activities, this not only reduces the burden of the work but also leads to fewer errors in judgment. So, because everyone will work according to their function, according to their in which they specialize, the field in which they specialize, so this leads to a fewer errors in the judgments. As a consequence, decisions are likely to be more balanced. Third merit is more funds. So in a partnership, the capital is contributed by a number of partners. So this makes it possible to raise larger amount of funds as compared to your sole proprietorship and undertake additional operations when needed. Fourth merit is sharing of risk. So, the risk involved in running a partnership firm is shared by all of its members. This reduces the anxiety, burden, stress on individual partners. Fifth and last merit is secrecy. So, partnership firm is not legally required to publish its accounts and submit its reports. Hence, it is able to maintain confidentiality of information, like in the case of JHUF and sole proprietor we saw. So, it is able to maintain confidentiality of information relating to its day to day operations. Now, let's see some limitations. So, a partnership firm or business organization suffer from the following limitations. First demerit is unlimited liability. So, partners are liable to repay debts even from their personal resources in case business assets are not sufficient to meet its debts. Liability of partners is mostly joint, is both joint and several, which may prove to be a drawback for those partners who have greater personal wealth. They will have to repay the entire debt in case the other partners are unable to do so. If there is a partner who has a greater personal wealth, he or she has will would have to repay the entire debt in case the other partners are not able to do so. So this is one of the main drawback. Second demerit is limited resources. So there is a restriction on number of partners, as we saw, maximum 50. So hence contribution in terms of capital investment is not usually sufficient to support large scale business operation. As a result, partnership firms face problem in expansion beyond a certain size. Third, demerit is possibility of conflict. So, partnership is run by a group of persons wherein decision making authority is shared among people. So, difference in opinion on some issue may lead to disputes between partners. Further decisions of one partner are binding on another partner. Thus, an unwise decision by someone may result in financial ruin for all others. In case a partner desires to leave a firm, this can result in termination of partnership as there is a restriction on transfer of ownership. So even if one person wants to transfer or wants to leave the firm, it can lead to your closure of the partnership because there is a restriction on the transfer of your ownership. Fourth demerit is lack of continuity. So partnership comes to an end with the death, retirement, insolvency, lunacy of any other partner. It may result in lack of continuity. However, the remaining partners can enter into the fresh agreement and continue to run the business. Fifth demerit is lack of public confidence. So, as we saw that the partners or the for people of the firm are not required to, to legally to publish its accounts and submit its report. So that's why they're not submitting its report. So the general public would not know what is its performance. So this leads to lack of public confidence. A partnership firm is not legally required to publish its financial reports or to make other related information public. It is therefore difficult for any member of the public to ascertain the true truth of the financial status of the partnership firm. As a result, the confidence of the public in partnership firms is generally low. So, this was about partnership. Let us revise the definition of partnership once again. So, the Indian Partnership Act 1932 defines partnership as the relationship between persons who have agreed to share profits of the business carried on by all or by one of them acting for all. Now we'll see six types of partners. So there are mainly six type of partners. You have active partner, sleeping or dormant partner, secret partner, nominal partner, partner by estoppel, and partner by holding out. So active partner, as the name suggests, an active partner is one who contributes capital, participates in management of the firm, shares profit and loss, and is liable to an unlimited extent to the creditors of the firm. These partners, they actually take part in carrying out business of the firm on behalf of the other partners. Second, you have sleeping or dormant partners. So partners who do not take part in day-to-day activities of business are called sleeping partner. A sleeping partner, however, contributes capital to the firm, shares profit and loss, and has unlimited liability. Third is your secret partner. So, secret partner is one whose association with the firm is unknown to the general public. Other than this distinct feature, in all other respect, he is like the rest of the partners. He contributes to the capital of firm, takes part in management, shares profits and loss, and has unlimited liability towards the creditors. So, secret partner is basically the one whose association with that firm is not known to the general public. Fourth, you have your nominal partner. So, nominal partner is the one who allows the use of his or her name by the firm but does not contribute to its capital. He or she does not take your active part in managing the firm and does not share its profit and losses, but is liable like other partners to the third parties for repayment of firm's debts. All these six type of partners that we'll be seeing will be having unlimited liability, because we know partnership has unlimited liability. Fifth type of partner is partner by estoppel. This is important. So a person is considered a partner by estoppel if through his or her own initiative or behavior he or she gives an impression to others that he or she is a partner of that firm. By his or her own initiative, he or she gives an impression to others that he or she is a partner of the firm. Such partners are held liable for the debts of the firm, because in the eyes of the third party they are considered as partners, even though if they don't take contribute capital or take part in its management. Suppose, let's take an example. Rani is a friend of Seema. Rani is a friend of Seema who is a partner in a software firm, Simplex Solutions. On Seema's request, Rani accompanies her into her business meeting with Mohan softwares and actively participates in the negotiation process for the business deal and gives the impression that she is also a partner in Simplex Solution. If credit is extended to Simplex Solution on the basis of these negotiations, Rani is also liable for the repayment of debts as if she is the partner of the firm. So, partner by estoppel is when he or she, through its own initiatives, gives an impression that he or she is a partner of a firm. Then you have partner by holding out. So a partner by holding out is a person who though is not a partner in a firm but knowingly allows himself or herself to be representative as a partner in a firm. Such a person becomes liable to outside creditors for repayment of debts which have been extended to the firm on the basis of such representation. In case he is not really a partner and wants to save himself from such liability, he should immediately issue a denial that I am not a partner, clarifying his position that he is not a partner in the firm. If he does so, he is not responsible. He will be responsible to third party. If he does not do so, if he does not issue a denial, he will be responsible to the third party for the payment of the debts. So let's see a short gist of this in a table form. Active partner, it can be classified by into capital contribution, management, share in profit and loss, and your liability. So active partner contributes capital, participates in management, shares profits and loss, and has unlimited liability. Sleeping or dormant partner, usually in the exam they ask you as dormant partner, so you should know dormant is none other than sleeping partner. So they also contribute capital, but they do not participate in management, and they share profit and loss, and they have unlimited liability. Secret partner contributes capital, participates in management, but secretly, and is not known to the general public. It's not known to the his association with the firm is not known to the general public, and has unlimited liability. Nominal partner does not contribute capital. Nominal is the one who allows the use of his or her name by the firm but does not contribute to capital. So, does not contribute to capital, does not participate in management, does not share profit and loss, but has unlimited liability. Partner by estoppel does not contribute to capital, does not participate in management, does not share profit and loss, but has unlimited liability. Same way, partner by holding out does not contribute capital, does not participate in management, it does not share profit and loss, but has unlimited liability. Next, we have minor as a partner. This is an important para. It can come as a case study question. So, partnership is based on legal contract between two persons who agree to share the profits and loss of business carried on by them. As such, a minor is incompetent to enter into valid contract. Incompetent means unable or is not allowed to enter into a valid contract with others. He cannot become a partner in a firm. However, a minor can be admitted to the benefits of a partnership firm with the mutual consent of all other partners. In such case, his liability will be limited to the extent of capital that is contributed by him and in the firm. He will not be eligible to take active part in management of firm. Thus, a minor can share only the profits and can be asked to bear the losses. However, he can, if he wishes, inspect the accounts of the firm. The status of a minor changes when he attains majority. In fact, on attaining majority, minor has to decide whether he would like to become a partner in the firm or not. He has to give a public notice of his decision within 6 months on attaining majority. If he fails so, he will be within the stipulated time, he will be treated as a full-fledged partner and will become liable to the debts like to of the firm to an unlimited extent in the same way like other partners are. Okay, now we have types of partners. This was what? This was your types of partners. But this question is different. This is type of partnership. This was type of partners. This is type of partnership. So type partnership can be classified into two factors: duration and liability. On basis of classification, on basis of duration, you have partnership at will and particular partnership. So partnership at will is this type of partnership exists as the at the will of the partner. It can continue as long as the partner wants and is terminated when any partner gives a notice of withdrawal from the partnership to the firm. Second is partnership, a particular partnership. So, particular partnership form for the accomplishment of a particular project, say construction of building or an activity to be carried on for a specific time duration, is called particular partnership. It dissolves automatically when the purpose of which it was formed is fulfilled or when the time duration expires. Classification on basis of liability, you have general partnership and limited partnership. So general partnership, the liability of partners is unlimited and it's joint. The partners enjoy the right to participate in management of firm and their acts are binding to each other as well as on firm. Registration of this type of firm is optional. The existence of the firm will be affected by the death, lunacy, insolvency or retirement of the partner. Limited partnership is the liability of at least one of the partner in this is unlimited, whereas the rest may have limited liability. Such a partnership does not get terminated with the debt, lunacy, insolvency mm, of the limited partner. The limited partner do not enjoy the right of management and their acts do not bind the firm or the other partners. Registration of such partnership is compulsory. This form of partnership was not permitted in India earlier. So, limited partnership was not permitted in India earlier. The permission to form partnership firms with limited liability has been granted after the introduction of new small enterprise policy in 1991. The idea behind such a move has been to enable partnership firms to attract equity capital from friends and relatives of small scale entrepreneurs who were earlier reluctant to help due to the existence of unlimited liability clause in the partnership form of business. So the basic motive why this was introduced, why the new small enterprise policy in 1991 was introduced, was so that partnership firms can attract equity capital from friends and relatives of small scale entrepreneurs who were earlier reluctant to help due to the existence of unlimited liability clause in partnership form of business. Next topic we have is partnership deed. So a partnership is a voluntary association of people who come together with an common objective of profit. In order to enter into partnership, a clear agreement with respect to the terms and conditions and all aspects concerning partners is essential so that there is no misunderstanding later among the partners. Such an agreement, it can be either oral or written. Generally, it is preferable that it is written. It is advisable to have a written agreement as it constitutes an evidence of the conditions agreed upon. So, written agreement is usually preferred as evidence in the court if required. The written agreement, which specifies the terms and conditions that govern the partnership, is called a partnership deed. So, whatever the written agreement that governs your partnership, which governs the terms and conditions of the partnership, is called a partnership deed. So, partnership deed generally includes the following aspects. You have your name of firm, nature of business, duration of business, investment by each partner, distribution of profit and loss, duties and obligations of the partners, salaries, term governing admission, interest on capital and interest on drawing, procedure for dissolution of firm, preparation of accounts, and then auditing method of solving disputes. This you have to learn as it is. Then you have registration. So, registration of a partnership firm means entering the firm's name along with relevant prescribed particulars in the registration or register of firms kept with registrar of firms. It provides conclusive proof of the existence of partnership firm. It is optional for your partnership to get registered in case a firm does not get registered and it is deprived from a lot of benefits. The consequences of non-registration of firm are as follows. Firstly, a partner of an unregistered firm cannot file a suit against the firm or any other partner. The firm cannot file a suit against third parties. The firm cannot file a case against the partners. So, in the view of these consequences, it is advisable to get the firm registered according to the India Partnership Act 1932. Partners may get the firm registered with the registrar of the firms of the state in which the firm is situated. Registration can be done at time of formation or any time during the existence. The procedure for getting a firm registered are first submission of application to the prescribed form to the registrar of firms. The application should contain the following particulars: name of firm, location of firm, name of other places where the business firm carries business, the date when each partner joined the firm, duration of partnership. This application should be signed by all the partners. Second, deposit of required fees with the registrar of firms. Third, the registrar, after approval, will make an entry in the register of the firm and will subsequently issue a certificate of registration. So, this is about your registration. Now, we are going to study about your corporate society. So, cooperative is a form of business wherein persons voluntarily associate together as human beings on the basis of equality for the promotion of an economic interest for themselves. Cooperative society. The word cooperative means working together with others for a common purpose. So, corporate society is a voluntary association of persons who join together with the motive of welfare of the members. They are driven by the need to protect their economic interest in the face of possible exploitation at the hands of middlemen. Corporate society is compulsory required to be registered under the Corporate Society Act 1912. The process of setting up the corporate society is simple enough, and at most, what is required is the consent of at least 10 adult persons to form the society. The capital of the society is raised from the members through the issue of shares. The society acquires distinct legal identity after its registration. So the rest of it will be doing in the next class. Thank you.